Okay, let's go.
So picture this, guys. A workplace environment, and then you have a line manager who gives a subordinate the task of coming up with a document or preparing a document. Now, while doing that, it so happens that the subordinate makes some mistakes. So, there are just errors in the document, and then the line manager starts to publicly berate the subordinate and express their disgust at, oh, why did you do this? Probably in the presence of their colleagues. And then while at work as well, this same line manager has to come up with a document, whether a memo to the whole organization or to their own superior, and then they go ahead to make the same kind of mistake. Let's then say the superior has to take it out on them, probably even gives them a query, or and the line manager starts to feel like, oh, it's not supposed to be that deep. Meanwhile, while taking out his own dissatisfaction on his subordinate, took it that far. Note that. Okay, last one. Let's say we have friends or relatives or acquaintances, and then for one reason or the other, over a span of time, you've not been able to see yourselves, you've not been in communication, you've not reached out to one another, and then suddenly you have the opportunity of meeting at an event. I specifically love this for relatives. You end up meeting yourselves at an event or somewhere, and before you can even say Jack, the other person has already started to call you out. Oh, you don't call? Why didn't you text? You didn't even reach out? Why do you do that? Why is it that you don't just like reaching out to people? You should have called. Why didn't you call me? And then you are there thinking to yourself, yo, this same person who is berating you for not reaching out has actually not reached out as well in the same span of time. Has not reached out, has not texted you, has not called you, has not, in any way, shape, or form maintained that same level of communication that they're expecting from you. And then you're there looking at yourself like, yo, why? Why do you do that? There's something very common to these scenarios that I just painted, and I suspect that you can already tell what it is. And that's double standard. Double standard. That thing that makes you have higher expectation of other people over yourself. That thing that makes it difficult for you to receive the exact same thing that you dish out to the other person. That thing that has a step sibling that they call hypocrisy. You know what I'm talking about. Hi there. Welcome to TRZ with Tomi'Stone, where we speak truth to life on faith, relationships, and lifestyle. Please enjoy the ride and don't go away. Thank you. It's so interesting to note that this topic of double standard comes in cadres. Sometimes when you have the opportunity of expressing it or experiencing it at a higher level, you start to feel like, oh, that's double standard. Guess what? Double standard does happen in trickles, and very subtly so sometimes, whereby you don't even know that what you're actually doing, what you're actually displaying at that moment is double standard. Sometimes you just suddenly lose the ability to put yourself in other people's shoes because you feel like, oh, I had a similar experience. Trust me, the similarity in experiences does not necessarily connote an equality in the circumstances. The fact that you experience something the same way another person did does not necessarily mean that the circumstances were the same. Hence the difference in reaction. Than that, the more reason why it's important to have empathy. Very, very important to have empathy. Listen, objectivity is the key to fairness. For anybody to be fair, you have to be objective. But then again, how are you going to be objective when you are not knowledgeable about a particular thing or self-aware? It's very easy to fall into the trap of being hypocritical, especially when you are not self-aware. When you are self-aware, you understand your character, your feelings, your personality, your reactions, and your expressions. You understand whether or not you are a really passionate person or you're passive. And sometimes in expressing your reaction, especially when you're passionate, it could be mistaken for extremity, if you understand what I mean. So you have to be self-aware. You need to really come to the knowledge of yourself, like, Who am I? How do I react to things? What's my attitude? What's my character? And how much of whatever it is you can take forms the basis of your personality sometimes. Now, let's talk about self-awareness. For every time you surround yourself with yes men, there is a high tendency that you will not be able to see yourself for who you are exactly. Why? It's often difficult to mirror yourself. It's easier for other people to tell you exactly how you are, to describe to you your reactions and what they make you look like. And that's one of the reasons why it's important to actually be self-aware. How can you do that? Get genuine feedback from genuine people. Talk to people who are going to give you the truth as it is, not people who are ready to caress your ego, make you feel good about yourself. Yes, that is very good for human communication and interaction. That's very good for your mind. But at the same time, you need people who can look you straight in the eye, who can look you in the face and tell you the truth about your personality, your character, and your reactions. You can do that. Aside from getting feedbacks from genuine people, you can keep a diary. It would help you keep track of how you react to things. It will help you keep track of your traits. And then you can talk to friends and seek genuine opinion from them on your personality and what they perceive about you. Now, that is not to say that whatever other people feel about you should form the basis of your person or how you see yourself. No, it's just supposed to give you data, it's supposed to give you information as to how you can better yourself as a person. So double standard is a thing, and as much as most of the time we love to feel like, oh, I'm the victim of this, well, other people have high expectations of me that they do not have of themselves. I am glad to tell you that we do it to other people too. Whether consciously, whether subconsciously, there will be moments that you have actually exhibited double standard to other people. And for that reason, this is why you need to be self-aware. This is why you need to invest in understanding yourself and bettering yourself as you progress. So the question is, would you consider yourself as an objective person? Are you fair in your judgment? When you do dish out opinions about people and when you react to things around you that other people do, are you sure that you are necessarily putting yourself in their shoes and you are being empathetic towards their situation? That's the question for you today. And are you sure that you're not hypocritical in your actions? It is very, very important for us to act in love. For every time that your actions are love motivated, trust me, you would always have that moment of redress where you have a pullback. You're about to lash out and then you remember the fact that, oh, what if it were me? What if I was the one that went through this situation? How am I going to react? How do I want to be treated in this moment? While I am going through this, or while I have made this mistake, or while I'm having this very crazy experience, I take cognizance of how I'm feeling. I take cognizance of the strength of my emotion in that time. And so for that reason, when another person is going through that same situation, I want to have a better angle of reasoning and a better angle of reaction towards them, whereby they do not start to feel less of themselves, or I don't worsen the situation for them in that moment, and I am being fair to them. So for every time that your action is love motivated, trust me, you are going to be less hypocritical and less judgmental, and then double standard will be put in the backseat, or probably even thrown out of the whole car, if you know what I mean. So let your actions be love motivated. So that's it, guys. That's our conversation for the day. I would like you to think about these few things before you take the next action. And this is TRZ with Tomi'Stone. Thank you so much for hanging with me. I look forward to the next conversation with you. Peace. Bye.
Okay, let's go.